entire world decisions you're willing to make. All right, Z2, Leanne Schweitzer. We're going to go with her first, and then after that, who else? Who else? Let me see hands. Let me see hands. David Monteith, Z15. We're going to go with him second. Keep your hands up if you want to share. Let's go with Michelle Ferguson, Z15. And let's go with keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Charlene Francis, Z2. Okay, so whoever's first, throw them up on the screen. Let's have a conversation. This is with Leanne. Leanne, how you doing? Are you there? Are you there? Do we need to unmute Leanne? Or is she muting herself or unmuting herself? We'll get you. We'll get you. Hold on. We'll make it happen.
I'm here.
Hey, there she is. What's the name of the little one bouncing around behind you?
That's Lila Pearl Schweitzer.
Hi, Lila Pearl. Hi. How
You're
are
the
you?
big screen boy.
So, Leanne, what's the big decision you're going to make this weekend?
The big decision that I am making is rank advancing to the position where I'll get health insurance so that I can retire my husband home so that we can all stay at home together because, yeah, I just want to spend more time with him.
So what needs to change in you for that to happen?
I need to take more action and I need to let go of perfection and allow myself to be more messy so that I can learn as I go.
That's a big thing. Letting go of perfection, being willing to do it messy. Some of you perfectionists out there, who's a perfectionist out there? Let me see. You gotta be willing to get a little bit messy, maybe even be a little bit embarrassed sometimes in order to be able to make this work. But Leanne, proud of you. I have no doubt that you're going to turn that goal, that decision into reality. Give Leanne a big round of applause, everybody. Let's bring up who's next. Hey, David.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Eric, how you doing?
Where are you connecting from?
I'm connecting from Anchorage, Alaska, and
Anchorage,
I
Alaska.
have something else in common with you. I'm also from Minnesota.
Hey, how about that?
So one of my big decisions.
Yeah, hey, can you tell? Hey, hold on.
Yeah.
Can you tell who my favorite team is?
The same one as mine.
Come
same
on.
one as mine.
Minnesota Vikings.
All right.
Let's go.
Okay.
And it ain't the Lakers.
Yeah.
Come on. So what's the big decision that you're going to make?
Okay. Well, right now I'm doing it. I'm getting myself out there a little bit more. One of the things that I've done is shied away from being on screen. One of my mentors, you know him very well, Jared Krebs,
Sure.
tells me to get out and do these Facebook Lives. So that's one of my decisions, to get out and do Facebook Lives, put myself out there, realize I have much more to offer than sometimes I give myself credit for.
Yeah,
so that's my big decision.
Yeah, if you're like me at all, being a kind of introverted, conservative type, in your personal life, what you got to realize is hiding your power, hiding your value to the world doesn't serve the world, and It doesn't, it's a little bit selfish. We hold on to our fire and we don't share it with other people, and that might make us feel protected, but it doesn't necessarily bring value to the world. And one thing I will tell everybody, including you, David, is most of the top earners are introverted people. Most of the top $1 million earners are introverted people. So they just find a way to become situationally extroverted. They push themselves to get a little bit uncomfortable and go do those Facebook Lives, or go, we'll get you from Facebook Live to TikTok. I want to see David doing a TikTok dance.
Dancing on TikTok.
Yeah, we got to do something crazy. But anyway, David, I'm proud of you for being here up on the screen. I'm proud of you for raising your hand. I'm proud of you for doing what you're doing inside of this profession. You got big things in store for you. Everybody, give David a big round of applause. Everybody, facing his fears and doing this. All right, who's next? Hey. How are you, Charlene?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Well, where are you connecting from?
I'm coming from Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. All right. So what's the big decision you're going to make?
I am going to let go of my limiting beliefs. I do really well. And then, like Emily said, I come to that point and then I step backwards. So now we are breaking through on our own, walking through to the next level.
I love that. And what I will tell you, I'm gonna teach you specifically on day 3 how to change this completely. What I used to do in my early years, Charlene, is without even realizing it, I would sabotage my own business. Without even realizing, my subconscious mind would sabotage my growth, my success. Every time I got something going, I'd figure out a way to screw it up. I'd figure out a way to mess up my team or be inconsistent or something. And I finally learned the secret of how to change that forever and to get my subconscious mind to work for me instead of against me. So I'll teach you that specifically, but your awareness of it and your decision to do something about it is why you're here. I'm proud of you. Everybody give Charlene a big round of applause. Well done, Charlene.
Thank you.
All right, I think we have one more. Hello, Michelle. How you doing?
Hi there, Eric. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Where are you connecting from?
Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and a big shout out to my Hot Shots team.
Hot Shots. All right. Fantastic. So what's a big decision that you're going to make?
Well, it's sort of been creeping up on me, and I'm glad you asked that today. I need to be bolder. I've been in the industry for about 14 years, and I've gained a lot of knowledge and a lot of skills and a lot of mindset growth that I probably should be sharing more. And it's not just in business. I need to give value to whatever my audience is. And so I think being bolder, knowing who I am, knowing that I start from a place of love and a good intention, and just take the things that I have locked up in here and let them out.
I love that. And let me tell you something. The next session that we're going to have in just a few minutes, it's an entire session on branding. And this is going to be very, very important for you, Michelle, and for everybody else here. You are the business. You are the asset. You need to brand yourself, and part of branding is putting yourself out there. We're going to talk about the different elements of branding in this next session. So pay very, very close attention to it, Michelle, because these things, every one of you, whether you think so or not, how you show up, the brand, what people think about when they think about you, has a major impact on your recruiting ability, on your leadership ability, on your growth ability, on your contribution to the world. A major impact. Your brand needs to be thought about like Nike thinks about their brand. You know what I mean? You really need to think about that as a person, not just promoting the company brand, and that's all great, but you're as a person, as your team, it's very, very important, and we're going to train you on it in just a bit. But everybody give Michelle a big round of applause. Well done, well done. I think that's everybody. Here's what I'd like you all to do. Take the biggest decision that you're going to make over the course of this weekend, the biggest one, because you might have many, and put it into the comments. Take a moment and put it into the comments. Share it for everybody else. In typing it, you're going to feel something different. I want you to share it with everybody else, okay? Melinda's going to get organized. Raquel's going to go pro. Be more active. Step into my leadership. Take more action. Make more calls. Give more value. Be consistent. Take action. Wake up earlier. Make a commitment and see it out. Be bold. Leaving behind my limiting beliefs. Be a more brave recruiter. Stop playing small. Be more consistent. Be obsessed and all in. Follow through with decisions. Keep typing those in and take a look, because it'll give you some ideas on some decisions that you might need to make. Okay? All right, so that's our first session. I'm going to bring back Fabian. He's going to take you to the next level. All right? Give him a big round of applause.
Hello, hello, hello. So guys, always when you see me, one of two things are going to happen. Either you will get some housekeeping notes from me so that you know what's going on, or we're going to increase the energy altogether. This time, which one will it be? It is housekeeping. So we're leading into a 10-minute stretch break. So stretch break means as soon as I say go, not before, stay in your seat. As soon as I say go, just get up, stretch out a little bit, get something to drink, get some food, shake your body out, and you have to be back on time. You can use the restroom, of course. That's a good time to do that. Hydrate, make sure. But what the most important thing is that you will be back on time. We're starting.
tell you something I could do. I could be running around chasing you, but I won't. Cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive, live. If you hadn't run away every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me tonight. No, you didn't want me, all you wanted was a game to play, and you couldn't handle that I had my ways. I found your matrix and your side chicks, I'm a winner, babe. No, you didn't win this, it's a part of the game. In the beginning I just didn't know that you're an enemy I held too close. Now I know, cause you did everything to prove me wrong. You were not the guy I thought. Now I'm beating you at your own. Yeah. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive, live. No, you didn't want me, all you wanted was a game to play, and you couldn't handle that I had my ways. I found your matrix and your side chicks, I'm a winner, baby.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. I hope everybody had a nice stretch. You're full of energy again. But before we continue, it is time to raise the energy a little bit. And I need the help of all of you. And you remember this morning, we did a little agreement. We said we all are going to give 100%. Is that right? So please type in the chat. We agreed to how much percent? How much was it? 100, exactly. Exactly, 100%. So what we're going to do now is I want everybody to stand up. We're going to do it together. And just as a quick reminder, as we did this morning, I am going to say, please, everybody, stand up. Okay? We're going to do it together, so please sit down back again. On my count. Are you guys ready? So please, everybody, stand up. There we go. That's the energy. That's the energy, guys. I love it. Chirpy, amazing. Over there, Silke, Deborah, awesome. Isabel. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Before we bring Eric out, we're gonna do something that I like to call party for no reason. I will do a countdown from 5 to 0. When we hit 0, I want you to freak out that your neighbors think something is wrong, okay, that the whole street thinks there's a party and they need to be part of it. Just freak completely out, be different, 100%. And then we're going to end all together at the same time with a dab. You know what a dab is? You might have seen that already, okay? And possibly we're going to do the largest dab ever on planet Earth, 60,000 plus people doing it at the same time. Are you ready for that? Then let's go. I'm going to count down from 5 to 0. We freak out when you hear me again. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to do the dab, and we stay in that position for 2 seconds. Ready to go? All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Party for no reason! Come on, Jacqueline. That's it. Valerie. Karen. Geoff McCoy, Kedra. Can see you guys and girls. 4, 3, 2, 1, and dab. Awesome. You should see that picture. Thank you very much. That lifted the energy a little bit. Please stay standing and welcome back Mr. Network Marketing Pro, Mr. Eric Worre.
All right. Thanks, brother. That was fun watching y'all dab. Lindsay Williams, I didn't see the dab. Come on. All right, I love it. Okay. How many people have at least one page of notes so far? Anybody? All right, we're going to go into a very interesting and new session. We've never trained on this topic in GoPro in the last 12 years, but it's important to do so, so we're going to do it today. The topic of this presentation, the next 90 minutes, is how to build a Rockstar brand in network marketing, how to build your Rockstar brand. And some of you might not think of yourself as a rock star, but in the business world, you will be a rock star. You will be somebody to admire, somebody to emulate, somebody to follow, somebody to listen to, if you build this by intention. I've got to tell you, one of the biggest trends I'm seeing in the world today, from the biggest earners in network marketing, is they are consciously building their Rockstar brand. And in doing so, you're going to hear from some of them. We're going to have a panel of people talking about why they did it, what they did, and what it did for their business. But here's what's going to happen if you pay attention to this. You're going to recruit more people. You're going to recruit higher quality people. People will listen to you more within your team. More productivity, more rank advancement, more duplication will happen as a result of you paying attention to your brand. So what I'm going to give you is a framework of what I'm seeing when it comes to the brands around the world, and I'm going to give you four pillars to building your Rockstar brand. And just like there's lots of different types of rock stars in the world, there's the Susan Boyles in the UK type, and there's a Beyonce type. There's a Michael Bublé type, and there's a Rihanna type. See what I'm saying? All different types. And same thing's true in sport, same thing's true in Hollywood. You don't have to be gorgeous. You don't have to be a fitness model. You don't have to, you could just intentionally build a brand, okay? So David, you hear me? We're going to help you build a brand in Anchorage, Alaska. And all of you help you build a brand. So the first thing that I want to share with you in building a brand, the first pillar is your standards. Your standards. Write that down. My standards. And let me tell you what I mean when I say standards. Here's what I mean. What are you known for? When people think of you, what comes to mind? Like, I'll give you some examples. I'll give you one. When you think of me, what comes to mind? Put it into the chat. What comes to mind? When you think of me, you know, we've been on this journey together for many, many years. Professional, network marketing, success, GoPro. What else do you think of? Teacher, bougie pants. These are on purpose. These yellow pants are on purpose. Mentor, integrity, huge heart, yellow personality. So think about when you think of Michael Jordan, what comes to mind? When you think of Michael Jordan, put that into the chat. Fit, sports, icon, dedicated, never quit, determined, professional, champion, confident. So what you're known for is actually a key element of your brand. It's a part of your standards. So, and another way to ask this is, what do you stand for? Now, there's going to be two answers to these questions for you. One is, what are you known for now? And then there's going to be, what do you want to be known for? What you're known for now might not be the best possible expression of what you want to be known for. So we'll work on how do you transition from what you're known now for to what we'd like to be known for. So, what are you known for, number one? What do you stand for, number two? What do you stand against, number three? What you are opposed to is part of your brand, isn't it? What you don't accept is part of your brand, isn't it? Point number four under standards. What are consequences for people who violate your standards? That's how you know you have standards. Is there are consequences when people violate them? I promise you, Nike as a company has standards. And if people working inside of Nike violate those standards, those people find themselves outside of the company. If you are involved in a particular church, if you violate the standards of that church, you'll find yourself not welcome there. If you violate the standards of the military branch that you are serving under, you'll find yourself in difficult situations. Same thing's true in every organization in the world. They have consequences for when people violate their standards, and there are rewards for people who support their standards. What are the rewards for people that support your standards? I'll give you an example of consequences. One of my favorite ones. Maya Angelou, great poet, amazing human being. She told a story once, and I listened to her tell this story. She was throwing a party at her house, and everybody was enjoying it, having fun. And a friend of hers, a person she knew, told an off-color joke, a joke that was at the expense of a group of people in the world. And she stopped the party. And she said, "Excuse me, you need to leave." And they're like, "Oh, I was just a joke. I was just kidding. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it that way. I'm so sorry that I offended you." She said, "That's fine. We'll talk about it later, but you need to leave. I don't allow that in my house." That's an example of a standard, even if it's uncomfortable. How do you defend your team? How do you defend the actions? How do you defend the profession? What do you stand for? What are consequences for those who go off of your standards? And what are the rewards for people who go and are part of your standards? You need to think about these things in terms of building a brand. Okay, so I'm going to ask you I have two exercises for you to do. We're not going to give you time to do them now, but I want to give you two exercises. Exercise number one. What do you think your standards are now? What do you think you're known for right now? When people think about you, what comes to mind? And you can actually go on social media and you could post a selfie and say, "Would you do me a favor? When you think about me, what do you think of? What comes to mind when you think about me? If I was a brand, how would you define me?" Ask them how you're viewed right now. And then I want you to create another list. What standards do I want to have? What do I want to be known for? A year from today, when people think about me, what do I want them to say? 5 years from today, when people think about me, what do I want them to say? So it's where you are now. Take inventory. Where you want to be. Plant a flag in the future so you know where you're headed. And we're going to give you lots of ideas on how to build the standards of your brand, okay? Lots of ideas. That's the first pillar. You got it? You understand? First pillar is your standards. What are you known for? What do you stand for? What do you stand against? What are the consequences for people who violate that? What are the rewards for people that support it? The second pillar is your energy. Your energy. Is energy part of your brand? Of course. It's a huge part of your brand. Some of you, your energy is so closed up that it doesn't serve you in building a business. Your energy is so kind of selfish, and I say that with all the compassion in the world. Introverts are kind of selfish because it costs them something to bring their energy to the world. They lose power by doing so. It costs them. It tires them out. Introverts kind of lose energy in a crowd or when they put themselves out there energetically, and extroverts gain energy. I lose energy. At the end of these 3 days, guess what? I am out. I will need to stare at the wall for a while and not talk for a while. That's how I'm built. It's true. If you can relate to that, raise your hands. Let me see if you can relate to that. You're going to need to recharge. Yeah, I get it. But even though I'm planning on being low energy to recharge my batteries later, would you describe me as low energy right now? Now, I'm not hyper. I'm not jumping up and down, but I have my own. My energy is part of my brand. My passion is part of my brand. Okay, I have standards for sure. I'm known for things for sure. But my energy is part of it. My empathy, my compassion, my encouragement, it's all part. You get it from the words, yes. But if I gave it to you very sour or very low energy, you wouldn't get as much of a benefit as if I give it to you with the real energy and the passion that I have inside. So your energy expresses itself in different ways. One is what you exude, you know? Do you brighten the room or do you dim the room? When you walk in, do you brighten the room or do you dim the room? And I had a mentor who, I'm introverted, one. I'm kind of cerebral, and what I mean by cerebral is not necessarily overly intelligent. What I believe about myself is I can get in my head and live in my head and forget the people around me really easily. And when I do, sometimes I get kind of, I get kind of focused and energetically bound up. And I had this mentor, and we'd go into meetings, and he'd afterwards say, "Eric, what are you doing? You're killing the meeting." I said, "What do you mean?" I was just thinking. I was thinking about strategy. I was thinking about this. Yes, but you need to brighten up, son. If you don't brighten up, I can't have you at these meetings. I'm like, what? He said, "Eric, when you walk into the meeting, it's like the lights went down in the room. You need to walk into the meeting like the lights just went up because you came into the room." I'm like, "Well, would you remind me when I'm doing it? Can we come up with a signal?" And you know what his signal was? He would kick me. You know, we'd go to breakfast or go to a lunch meeting and say, "Kick me under the table," bam. And I'd be like all like focused. And I wasn't negative, but I looked negative. My energy was darker than my intention. So I'd be like, I'd be having my breakfast tonight. I'd be having the lunch. I'd be thinking about stuff. I'd be writing things down. And he'd kick me, bam. And I would show up. Hello. I would come right back into the meeting. "Hi, how you doing? Good to see you. Sorry, I was checked out there for a second." And I would put a smile on my face, and I'd put some energy into the conversation, and I'd focus on the people. And I would change. Now, it was only a physical change, but the impact on the other person was dramatic. The lesson that I learned was huge. I was living small, and I was playing small, and I was acting small, and what I was exuding was small, and I needed to show up energetically. And some of you, even on these screens that I'm looking at right now, you're not brightening the room, folks. Some of you. There's some of you just woke up. Hello, nice to meet you. How you doing? Good to see you. Hey, Rachel. Thanks for joining the conversation. I see your smile now. And sometimes it's just a smile. Sometimes it's about how you move. So what you exude is one part of it. Your vibration is another part of it. Do you have in velocity a little bit quicker movements versus super slow? If that's your brand. If that's the brand that you want, here's what I want your energy to do. I want it to line up with your standards. I want it to line up with what you're known for. I want it to line up with your vision for your brand. I want it to be congruent. Okay? So what you exude, your vibration, what's next? What you say. Does what you say express the energy that's inside of you? Yes or no? Nod your head or shake your head. What you say, how you say it, the words that are coming out of your mouth. Part of my brand, you know what part of my brand is? Empathy, because I care about you so much, and I try to express that verbally as well as showing up in your life from time to time and helping you. I try to express how proud I am of you. I think of myself as a professional encourager. That's part of my brand. What you say matters hugely. What you do matters. What you do, is that part of your brand? Is that part of the energy? What you do impacts how people see you. It impacts the energy in which they see you. Number 5 is the speed in which you do things. If you're going to go get something done, man, get it done. We're going to hear from Grant Cardone, I think, tomorrow. But one of the things that I think when I think about him, big thinking, 10x, all of that. But one of the things that you might not know about him, but I know about him as a friend, and is he gets shit done. If he's got an idea, he turns the idea into reality fast. That's part of his brand, and it's part of his energy. He doesn't have 100 to-dos that are important. If he has a to-do, he turns it into a to-done. That's part of the energy of people around him. The passion in which you do things. You give a presentation with passion, it's part of your brand. Low passion, medium passion, high passion. We'll hear from Tony Robbins later. What is Tony? He's way up there. Motion creates emotion. You're going to be jumping up and down. I'm not a jump up and down brand. You know, I can get excited. You can tell I'm excited. You can tell I'm focused. You can tell I'm whatever, passionate about this. I hope my energy is expressing itself to you. How much I care about you and how much I want you to win. I hope it's congruent with the brand that I hope to be. So speed, passion, what you exude, your vibration, what you say, what you do, all of that stuff matters. So here's some hard questions. Here's some hard questions. What type of energy defines you right now? Right now. If we took a poll of the 100 people that knew you the best, one at a time, let's not give them all of them, positive or negative, what would they say? If they only had a choice, They could pick positive or negative. What would they say? Happy or sad? What would they say? Thoughtful or scatterbrained? What would they say? Be honest. Energetic or slow? Be honest. Energetic or slow? Spiritual or agnostic? Spirituality could be part of your brand. Encouraging or discouraging? If we asked 100 people now, and some of you, look, some of you saying, well, at least 51% would say I was encouraging. We need to get it to 100, don't we? For it to solidly be part of our brand. Hyper or calm? Passionate or apathetic? These are all decisions. Every one of these is decisions. And some of them might tire you out, my introverted friends. But if you want your brand to align with your purpose, you want your contribution to be bigger than it is today, you want the purpose for you being here to really matter, you have to get past your fear of putting yourself out there. I promise you, I am not energetically, I am not the person I was. I changed. Ask any of my friends, they're like, we don't believe it. That knew me back in school or whatever, they're like, who is this kid? We don't even know. So here's some other questions for you. And put your answers into the chat. What type of energy is gossip? Might be really interesting gossip. Might be gossip around some movie star. It could be gossip around COVID. It could be gossip around politics. Or any of those topics out in the general public. What type of energy are any of those topics? What type of energy is complaining? Even if it's justified, you know? You had a bad day and you need to vent. Or something bad happened to you and you need a little sympathy. Even if you need to vent, and even if you need a little sympathy, even if you need a little validation, what type of energy is that? Is complaining. The next one is one I was an absolute superstar pro, and I was known for it. I was a professional at blaming other people or other things for my lack of success. I was so good at it, it's not my fault. It's my upline's fault. It's my stupid downline. The company won't do this. I live in Minnesota. It's freaking freezing, and nobody wants to work. I'm too young. I don't have a college degree. I don't know anybody. You know, people in my country don't like network marketing as much as they like it in other countries. I would complain about everything. I'd even complain and blame other negative people for being negative. I would blame other negative people for my lack of success. What type of energy is blaming? Big question. Do you brighten the room or do you dim the room? It's really as simple as that. And guess where that starts? Guess where that starts? With what you're sitting right now, me looking at your face. I'm not going to call you out and say, hey, you brighten the room, you dim the room. But some of you are not bringing your energy into this event. You're sitting back like a tourist. You're not showing up, even in the Zoom in your living room, like you're going to be on this stage. And that's what you should be doing, because that should be part of your brand. You showing up, shining up, dressing up, looking great, big smile on your face, makeup on, ready for your close-up. So I'll give it to you for this session, but here's what I'd like to see. I want to see the brand, your brand, show up over the course of these 3 days. By that last session, I want to see your best self. Energetically, physically. I want to see your standards pop off the screen. So bold and so bright and so amazing that everybody that comes up here has to call on you because you look so great. You got such a big smile on your face. And even if it is 6:37 in Australia, a.m., and we started at 4 a.m., I get it. But if you're going to be on this stage and your body clock was at 4 a.m., I promise you, you'd look different. Promise. So, standards number 1. Got it? What are you known for? What do you want to be known for? Energy number 2. What is your energy level now? What do you want it to be as you move forward? What do you want to be known for energetically? Third, your appearance. Your appearance. How you show up. How do you show up to the world? Everything you do needs to be on purpose. On purpose, not an accident. Everything you do needs to be on purpose. What I'm wearing today is on purpose. The yellow pants are on purpose. The purple shoes are on purpose. What I'm going to wear this afternoon is on purpose. How I show up is a decision, and it's not about ego. It is about professionalism. It is about paying attention. And I will tell you, if you show up, if your appearance is at the next level, you'll recruit better people. You'll recruit more people. You'll get more rank advancement, more growth, more everything if you show up. And how your appearance shows up aligns with your standards, what you're known for. Do everything on purpose when it comes to your brand. What's next? Clothing. So think about, I know some people, some teams, that they wear a lot of black with pink. I know one team in particular, her team is known when they show up at an event, they've got a pink scarf, they've got a pink ribbon, they got pink something. It could be around colors. It could be around, your brand could be shorts and flip-flops and Hawaiian shirts, if you want it to be. It could be suits. It could be casual Fridays. It could be sloppy. Or it could be tight. Think about any quote-unquote celebrity. When they go out in public, do they go out, as a general rule, do they go out of their house sloppy or tight? Which one? Tight. Tight. They never know. There's that paparazzi's going to be taking a picture. They never know. So they show up on point. You ever see them at the airport? You ever see them somewhere? They're looking tight. They're on purpose. You need to be tight also. How you show up on your Zooms matters. Your hair, your makeup, your grooming, your clothing. I don't care what it is. Your brand is your brand. I just want it to be intentional. Your clothing, your accessories, all of that stuff. Make it intentional. Decide what you want to, how you want to show up. And there's two sides to appearance. How you want to show up as a leader and how you want your team and your system to show up for your people. When they look at your team, does it inspire confidence? When they look at your system, when your page and your everything else, does it keep them inspired to do more? Or is it sloppy, last minute, not really thought about? Think about this. This is a big, big deal. How you show up. Do you have a logo for your team? Do you have a name? Do you have any slogans? Fourth pillar is your media. How does the brand that you have in your standards, what you're known for, right? Your energy and your appearance, does your media reflect your brand? What do I mean? The pink ladies are here. Yeah. What do I mean by does your media reflect your brand? Is it reflected on all platforms? Does your Facebook page reflect your brand? Do you have a logo for your name? Do you have a color scheme that you're going to build your team and your brand around? These are all thoughts that are important. And the biggest brands, think about fonts and color scheme and photos and photography, videography. They think about lighting. They think about accurate descriptions. Some of you need, and you'll see, we're going to have a panel. We're going to have a panel that they're going to describe how they consciously put this stuff together for themselves and for their team and what it did for them. So some of you are like, what are you talking about? What does this have to do with me building a business? A lot more than it ever has. And your brand, here's the great thing about your brand. It could be anything you want it to be. Anything you want. I'm looking at Anthony Riccio. He's got long hair, and that's part of his brand. He's got a beard and long hair and cool glasses, big smile on his face, right? I'm sure that's consciously part of his brand. We've got Vincent Balaga, who's got a shaved head like me, right? It doesn't have to, we don't have to all look the same, but we all have to decide how we're going to show up. And what does this stand for? What does it all mean? Okay? So your names, personal and team. Next. Your logos, personal and team. You're going to hear from a bunch of leaders here that are going to talk to you about creating names and logos for their teams. The language that you use in your media needs to reflect the brand that you're trying to build. Okay? Do we have anything else with this? Or is that it? Is that it? All right, cool. So let me tell you what I've got a little surprise for you. When you think about corporate brands, some of the biggest brands in the world, put into the chat the biggest brand you can think of in sports apparel. What's the biggest ones you can think of? A lot of Nike, right? So I have a friend here who we've gotten to know each other recently. He was largely responsible for managing the Jordan brand for the last 32 years inside of the Nike organization. He knows a tremendous amount about branding, not only branding for Nike, but how that can impact and how you can make decisions on branding yourself. So he's going to come out here. We're going to have a conversation. Please welcome to the stage Gentry Humphery. Come on out, Gentry. Hey, man.
Yes. How are you? Man, great to see you. Great to see you. You good?
So, are we going to have chairs?
What's up, everybody?
Do we have chairs or no? Bring out a couple chairs for us. So, Gentry Humphery, while they're doing that, come on over here.
All righty.
So look at those shoes. He's got fancy shoes. Gentry's responsible for, has to be, billions of dollars in sales.
Yeah,
Is that accurate? Have a
that's,
seat.
that's quite accurate, especially over a 32-year career.
Can we bring his mic up a bit?
Yes.
Over a 32-year career?
Yeah, that usually comes with the territory. A lot of revenue that's attached to it.
So, look, these guys are all entrepreneurs. They're all home-based business solopreneurs. And I'm of the belief that building a brand as a person, which you've done as well,
Yep.
and you've helped Michael Jordan do,
Yep.
is a big deal in terms of marketability out in the market. You'll attract more people, more opportunities will show up, more people will respond to you and help you grow as an entrepreneur. So when you think about brand, what comes to mind?
I think the first thing that comes into mind for me is you will not be successful in creating your brand if you truly don't understand the essence and you can't define what your brand is. So for instance, the easy thing for people to do is talk about their brand and everything.
So I said standards, you're saying your essence.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's what you're known for, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The easy thing for people to do is talk about all of the great things that they do. But really, where the magic comes from is when you understand the opportunities that you have. You have to be able to define what it is that you're not doing to help you get to another place. Michael Jordan is a great example of that. One of the greatest athletes to play the game of basketball. In order to sustain that greatness, the first thing he'll tell you is I had to identify the weaknesses of my game and turn them into strengths. Once I'm able to turn those weaknesses into strengths, now my game is complete and I can sustain that excellence. The thing that you're doing here is phenomenal. You're giving folks an opportunity to understand what it's going to take for them to build their own brands. And that knowledge, you've got to absorb that knowledge. The collective genius that they get from multiple people to help create that greatness is truly important. So
let me think about it this way. How many meetings you had to be sitting in thinking about little things like the color,
details.
Detail. How detailed did you need to be in order to be able to kind of build a sustained brand over time?
Oh, it's everything.
And how closely did you guard against people trying to change that?
All the time. All the time. If you understand what your brand ethos is, and you live and die by what your brand ethos is, and you're able to connect with consumers who start to appreciate and respect your brand ethos, you have to be able to get into the details. And that's every little thing that you do. I heard you talk about how you dress, how you perform, how you look. All that is a part of your brand ethos. And if in this world today, especially the digital world that we live in, consumers have opportunities to connect with anybody. You can't fool them. They're discerning. They can identify real versus fake right away. And so the devil is in the details. When you have those details and you address those details, that's how you gain credibility and respect amongst that audience that you're targeting.
When you think about like logos, colors, and those types of things, how much time did you spend on that, and how much time would you recommend these people spend on figuring out what are the things that are going to represent them, like the flying Michael
logo.
Jordan as a logo was important.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
the colors are important.
Yes.
Like you've got the hat with the flying thing.
Yeah.
That's the deal. Or the Nike swoosh, the famous swoosh. Is important. How did what were the conversations like in creating the brand from the first place? When you started doing this 32 years ago?
Yeah.
What was the thought process and what was the evolution of the brand over time?
Yeah. Well, first off, you have a man that now had a logo, and how he carried himself on the court as well as off the court allowed you to embrace the essence of that man and the excellence that he brought. So that logo became a symbol of excellence. And we believed that at the time, we could share that with the rest of the world. You know, we can share what his brand is all about, and it could complement the things that were happening on the Nike side. And so when you're able to kind of have an audience that connects in a different way with another portion of your brand, you're able to grow your personal brand. And so everything that we did with Michael from day one started off in his likeness, and we sent that through every single filter, how we chose to advertise, how we chose to design product. And I heard someone talking about earlier about being bold. Michael Jordan was the essence of being bold. And for us, it was important to live through that, because if we're doing the same things today that we did 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you're probably getting passed up. So being comfortable with being uncomfortable became extremely important for us. And we lived through that, and everything we do, we try to send it through that filter.
Where some things had to be sacred, I'm guessing.
Yes, yeah. Some things
It's like,
definitely.
you know, like I remember I knew a guy who was part of the first executive team of Colonel Sanders, and and Colonel Sanders. I'll say it less colorfully than the Colonel would do, because some people were trying to change the gravy.
Right.
And the Colonel was saying, you do not mess with
The gravy. Yeah, that's right.
That is like a non-negotiable. And some things are, I'm assuming, non-negotiable. Yes.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
How aggressively would you protect the brand that you built?
Almost to a fault at times. You know, I've had to sit down with folks that weren't as close to the brand as I was, and folks that are in a high position, and had to learn the power of influence to make sure that they understood why I was protecting it the way I was protecting it. And 9 times out of 10, again, if you come from an authentic position, people can't help but respect your point of view. And it's easier to influence them and to move them in the direction that you need them to go if, you know, you come from a position of authenticity.
Right. So, I mean, with all of this, what I find fascinating, Nike's, you know, an amazing, admired brand, and Jordan brands are incredible as well, is what are the lessons that we could learn from that? What are the lessons we could learn from a Richard Branson? What are the lessons we could learn from an Elon Musk and how he's branding himself? He's branding himself completely different than a Tim Cook from Apple.
Yeah.
Like, wildly different brands, but they're doing it on purpose.
Yes.
I believe Musk is doing what he's doing because it's a cheap way to get lots of advertising. Doesn't have to spend much money, and it's driving his stock up to be the richest man in the world.
Right.
Okay, it was working for him to be this rebel renegade.
Right.
Tim Cook is more like by the book,
Yeah.
you know, straight up, but that's a choice also, and the organizations reflect that.
Yep.
Okay, so I just want everybody to be thinking, and we're going to bring up a panel in a few minutes. I want everybody to be thinking about how you can utilize these types of thought in order to be able to create a brand that's going to serve you long term, okay, and how you protect that. In the Jordan brand, the things that I've noticed is part of the brand is he's not as accessible as other people.
Right.
He's not going to be on every talk show, and he's not going to be on every radio. He's going to be a little bit back. He's going to let the brand do the speaking, whatever. He's going to pull himself a little bit back, and that's part of his brand, and it's on purpose. Is that accurate?
Yes, very intentional.
Yeah. And if there's somebody in his team or whatever that is disrespectful, right? What's going to happen to that person?
Oh, they're going to hear about it.
They're going to hear about it, or they're going to find their way out of the organization.
That's right.
Right. If somebody is racist,
Yep.
in the group, that's not going to be tolerated.
Yep.
If somebody's sexist or anything else,
That's right.
it's not going to be tolerated. So there's standards, right?
100%.
Around excellence, around the look. I'm sure he's paying attention to quality
100%.
as being something that's
Because that
important as well.
represents him.
Yeah, represents him. So look at the difference between the brand that I'm dressed up as and the brand that Gentry's dressed up as. Neither one is good or better or worse. His is intentional. Every time I've seen Gentry, he's looked a version like this.
Yeah.
Great shoes, great hat, some kind of cool, funky jacket, right? But that's his look. And it probably wasn't always your look, was it?
No, but I did realize that at some point,
You were part of the brand.
yes. And if I wanted people to truly understand me, and when they saw me on a consistent basis, they knew what my look was going to be.
Right. And did that look inspire confidence in the team? When did you make the decision?
To leave?
To do the brand thing
You know, it's funny.
on yourself.
Yeah, it's funny. Early on, like I have some crazy stories. You know, people used to ask me, you know, how did you get to the job? And you know, I used to say it's being at the right place at the right time. But honestly, when I look back at it, I actually started as a really young kid doing it. I mean, my mom told me at 5 years old, before I went to elementary school, each night I'd lay out 3 different outfits. I had a GQ outfit that I wanted to be the sharpest kid in class. I had a sport outfit because I love sport. And for whatever reason, I love cowboys, and I had a cowboy outfit. So, but it started off early, you know, and I knew that I had to brand myself then.
Yeah. So
Not subconsciously, that
well,
was.
in your business, you're working with the Jordan
Yep.
organization.
Yep.
Did you make a conscious shift
Oh,
in
yeah,
your
for sure.
clothing stuff? How long into the journey did you
Oh, it
do
was
that?
right away because you want people to.
Because you were representing.
That's right. Like
So has it always kind of been this?
no, it evolved a little bit.
Tell me where it started, where it came.
It started off way more hip hop-ish.
Yeah.
But as I started to mature, I had to kind of create my own style, like incorporate a little bit of hip hop flavor, but yet become a little bit more sophisticated. So, but
All right.
early on, I mean, if you want people to respect what you do and appreciate the things that you do, you have to, and especially with what we do, there's a look that has to go. Like, not everybody can pull off some of the things that we do.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people need the visual cues of that. So myself and the team had to kind of help portray that for folks.
Well, I know you had Nike and Jordan team came through the studio
Yep.
a month or 2 ago, and the group, as a group, just looked intentional,
Yeah.
on purpose,
Yeah.
phenomenal, professional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So make sure that